Hello, Lightworkers and Empaths. If you are experiencing a limiting belief and it's stopping you from moving towards your goal and doing your mission, then this is what I want you to know, that a limiting belief serves a very important purpose in our self-growth journey. And it only becomes a hindrance when we approach it in the wrong way. And when we are going to approach our limiting beliefs in the right way, which I'm going to share with you, what you will find is that it is going to reveal to you very important wisdom and self-knowledge that is only going to assist you in your self-growth journey, right? So in this video, I'm going to share with you a 9-step method, which I call the limiting belief dissolution method, which is going to help you dissolve any of your limiting beliefs down to its roots and help you uncover the important wisdom, the important self-knowledge that was hidden under that limiting belief, that was the cause of the limiting belief, right? So I'm going to share with you that entire process. It's going to be very elaborate, so it's going to be a long video, so stay with me at every part of this video. You don't want to miss anything important before moving on to the actual steps, right? So when we are experiencing a limiting belief, our reaction is one of these 3 ways, right? So we either try to ignore the belief, we try to think that the limiting belief does not exist and we just try to push it under the rugs, or we try to push through the belief. We try to think like, I don't care about the limiting belief, let it stay where it's at, and I'm just going to push through it, right, with my willpower and everything. Or we give in to the belief, like the limiting belief is there, I can't take it, it's too much for me, and I'll just not do the thing, right? So either of these 3 reactions comes up, usually. Can you relate? But you also know that none of these 3 reactions actually dissolve the limiting belief, because the limiting belief stays and it keeps coming back and back and back and back and back again and again, right? So how to dissolve your limiting belief? The way you dissolve a limiting belief is by approaching it consciously. And try to see what it's trying to show us, because as I mentioned, the limiting belief is not here by accident. It has a very important purpose. It is here to show us about something about ourselves that we need to know before we move forward with our journey. So we have to approach it consciously and we have to see what it's trying to show us so that it can go away. And that is what I'm going to share with you. Now, before I share with you the steps of the process, the 9-step limiting belief dissolution process, I just want to let you know that I have a Facebook group for Lightworkers and Empaths where I ran a poll last month on mental health challenges, and this challenge came up. The members in my group mentioned these challenges, and that is why I am addressing this challenge and giving you the solution to this challenge. So if you are a Lightworker, if you are an empath, if you are someone who is in tune with the spiritual ascension journey, then in my group, I am going to address your challenges directly. I do these discussions every week. I'm very active in the group. I do these polls. I'm releasing short expanded videos on topics like mental health challenges, challenges with lack of clarity of purpose, self-worth challenges. So the group is the place to be if you want to stay connected with me. So join the group. Link will be in the description. You have to answer the 3-member joining questions in detail to be considered for joining the group. So join the group. Link is in the description. Now, moving on. As I mentioned, to dissolve a limiting belief, you have to approach it consciously, because usually when we are experiencing a limiting belief, we think that it's unwanted. We feel that it's like a weed, right? We just have to get rid of it and our garden will be clean. But that's not how it is. The first step is stop seeing it as unwanted. A limiting belief is not unwanted, and I'll tell you why. But first thing to approach it is not seeing as unwanted will help you approach it consciously, because as long as you're thinking it's like a weed, you're not going to even want to look towards it, right? So that's the number one thing. Now, I'm going to give you some examples, right, to explain what a limiting belief actually is. Because a limiting belief feels like a brake, right? You have brakes in your car, the brake function in your car, and sometimes when we are experiencing limiting beliefs, it feels like that we want to move forward, but limiting belief is stopping us. So it's very much like when we have one foot on the accelerator pedal and one foot on the brake pedal simultaneously going on. So what happens? Nothing happens. Your car burns out and you go nowhere, right? So that is how a limiting belief feels like when we are trying to move towards our goals, right? It feels like we want to go, we have the passion, we have the inspiration and everything, but we can't go because the limiting belief is acting like a brake. And we feel that if we just get rid of the brake function, then we will move. Just get rid of it, right? That's not the right way to approach it. Because just think if you remove the actual brake function from your vehicle, your car, what will happen? Of course you are going to move if you have the accelerator pressed on, but you also would know that you are moving towards certain death. So unless you want certain death, then you would not want your brake function without the brake function in your car, right? You do not want the brake function to be not there in your car unless you want to crash and burn. And this is exactly how limiting beliefs work. Limiting beliefs are like our emergency braking mechanism. They are here for a purpose. They are here to help us in our self-growth journey. But they appear like brakes when we do not know what the hell we are doing with it. When we do not know what the brake function is here for. That is when it all becomes messy, right? I'm going to give you another analogy before I reveal to you the entire step, because it's important to build this foundation, right? Now, imagine those airplane pre-flight inspection processes, really tedious, right? So before you get on an airplane, you know that the flight engineers conduct this really tedious pre-flight inspection that goes on for hours, right? And what are they doing exactly? They're keeping the plane halted and they're checking all the important functions, all the vital functions of the airplane. And only if all the vital functions of the airplane are okayed, then only the flight engineers will give you a go ahead, right? Go ahead, and then the flight will take place. Otherwise, it will not. Why? Why do they keep the airplane halted until everything is okay? It's because it is for your benefit. Because if you do not check your vital statistics of your vehicle, your airplane in this case, then maybe mid-flight there will be a disaster and everybody is going to die, right? So everything must be taken care of before you are given a go ahead, right? Exactly, this is how our limiting beliefs work. Our limiting beliefs, as I mentioned, is our emergency braking mechanism. When we are trying to move towards our goals and to our mission, limiting beliefs come to show us that there are certain important things that is still not aligned, still not properly taken care of in our system, which we need to get it properly aligned and know what they are before we start moving towards our journey, because otherwise we are heading for a disaster, right? And that is what the limiting beliefs are here for. They are our emergency braking mechanism, right? Now, do not judge yourself when you're experiencing a limiting belief, because when we are experiencing limiting beliefs, usually we feel that something wrong with us. But now a limiting belief is not about something wrong with you. It's like a pre-flight inspection, right? It's not here to keep you halted forever. It is just telling you, take care of some of the things before you go ahead. It wants you to go ahead. So don't judge yourself if you're experiencing a limiting belief, because it's trying to show you something. Now, before I give you the process, I'll lay out the process now. I'll give you all the 9 steps of the 9-step limiting belief method that will help you recognize what's your limiting belief trying to show you and receive the knowledge and wisdom, right? Before I give you that, I just want to let you know that if you have been following me for some time and the things that I give you resonate with you strongly, then I'm a life coach and I have a 6-week program that I have developed, which is for lightworkers and empaths and those of you who are going through the spiritual ascension journey. And it is designed to help you overcome the challenges with low self-worth, lack of clarity of purpose, and lack of confidence. If these challenges are present in your life, and if these challenges are stopping you from living your purpose, living authentically, and living your best life, then this 6-week program is designed for you. I will teach you a method that I've developed with my clients that will help you overcome these challenges. You will be able to notice a measurable difference in your level of inner harmony and the amount of joy and happiness you can experience on a day-to-day basis as we start working. So if you want to know more about working with me, then send me a mail. My mail ID will be in the description of the video, or send me a direct message if you're watching this on Facebook, right? All of it will be in the description of the video. I will get in touch with you. I'll ask you a few questions, and if I feel that you are a right fit for this 6-week program, then we will have a discovery call, right? So send me a mail if you want to know about it. Now, as I mentioned, that I'm going to give you the entire process, the 9-step limiting belief dissolution method that is going to help you dissolve any of your limiting belief from now on, right? So let's begin. Let's give it to you. Now, I'm going to read it from a sheet because it's incredibly detailed. So stay with me and feel free to repeat the entire video at any place where you need a little more clarity, because there's going to be a lot of steps, right? So let's move forward. So the 9-step method is something like this. So we are going to go through 9 different types of questions, and these questions will reveal us the self-knowledge and the critical wisdom the limiting belief is about. Now, the first step is what we call the specifying why question. So I'm also going to use a particular limiting belief as an example that I had when I was a teenager, and I'm going to dissect it. But before I dissect it using the 9-step method, I'm going to lay out the 9 steps, right? So the first step is what I call the specifying why question. Now, this question will help you to specify the reasons of a general limiting belief to bring out what it's specifically about. So when we usually have a limiting belief, we are not sure about what it's specifically about. So it will help you bring out the specific aspects, like what is it trying to point towards, right? Because it's not going to help us if we have something very vague, right? The next step will be a few probing why questions. Now we are going to use these probing why questions, which is going to help us recognize the clarity that this limiting belief is trying to give to us. There is going to be a lot of why questions that is going to be self-directed towards us, and it's going to help us bring clarity to the limiting belief. Step 3 will be a why only question, right? The why only question will put you in a decision-making place. It will put you in a fork with your assumptions, and it will help you really see whether you are 100% right on your pre-assumptions or not. So there are always some pre-assumptions going on. That is the basis of the limiting belief. This is going to put us in a place where we are going to have to choose on one side or the other, right? So it's going to happen, and I'm going to show you all of it with an example, right? Now, step 4 is going to be an am I sure question, right? Now, this question brings a sense of finality to the certainty of your pre-assumptions, and it leads to the discovery of the wisdom and the self-knowledge that is beneath that limiting belief, right? The step 5 will be the clarity question. This question is going to help you bring more clarity into the wisdom and the self-knowledge that you just discovered. So using the am I sure question, you are already going to discover the self-knowledge. Now, using the clarity question, what is going to happen is you are going to have more clarity into that self-knowledge that you already discovered, right? Now, step 6 is going to be the do I have what it takes question. Now, this question is going to help you check back whether the wisdom that you just discovered is applicable in your case or not, right? Step 7, we're almost there, will be the limiting belief re-question. this question re-questions the original limiting belief question that we started off with for final dissolution. Step 8 will be the next time question. This question will help you to have a clear answer for yourself for next time when you doubt yourself, right? So next time the limiting belief comes up, you will have an answer for that limiting belief so that you can immediately dissolve it, right? Step 9 will be the reminder tool question. This is the final question of the 9-step method. The reminder tool question is going to assist you to develop a tool, an actual tool that will help you to remind yourself the wisdom and the self-knowledge that you received with ease in moments of self-doubt, right? So now I've laid out all the 9 steps. Now I'm going to use a limiting belief and use it as an example to show you how this 9-step method is going to help us recognize what this limiting belief is trying to show to us. Now, I'm going to use a limiting belief that I had during my late teens, which I was able to dissolve. So I'm going to use that limiting belief statement. Now, the limiting belief statement is something like this. I'm not good enough to be a great singer. So I am a music enthusiast and I wanted to do singing, but I had this limiting belief statement that I'm not good enough to be a great singer. So let's begin dissecting this limiting belief using this 9-step method, right? So we are going to use the exact type of question that I described. So beginning with the specifying why question, right? To bring specificity to the general limiting belief statement. So the first question, the specifying why question is this. Why do I think I'm not good enough to be a great singer? Right? So why do I think? I'm asking specifically what reason I think that I cannot be a great singer. So these are self-directed questions. So the answer is like this. I think I'm not good enough to be a great singer because the ones who sing well, they started out so early and got lessons when they were a kid, and I did not get any, right? So it just specified the reasons why I think I cannot be a great singer, because the people, got lessons and I did not get any. Now we move to the next type of question, the probing why question. Now this question can be multiple, remember, because we are going to probe and probe until we think we have arrived at a place where we can go deeper into a moment of differentiation, moment of a decision making, right? So let's go. Why do I think that the only ones who started early and got lessons as a kid become great singers, right? So we are probing, we are questioning us that why do I think that if somebody got a lesson, only then they can become a great singer, right? It's because it's the formal lessons from singing teachers that helps develop good singing voice, and in turn helps the person become great singer. So this is my assumption. I think because it's the formal lesson from singing teacher help develop good singing voice and in turn help the person become a great singer. So I am assuming that. Moving to the next probing why question, because a probing why question can be multiple. This is the second probing why question. Why do I think formal lessons from singing teachers help develop good voice and help a person become a great singer? Answer, because I think they teach how to develop good singing voice. They give their students effective singing practice techniques, etc. Right? Now we move to the why only question, right? Why do I think that only, see this is the only part, only having a former singing teacher and getting lessons on how to develop singing voice and effective singing practice techniques that the teacher gives makes a great singer? So I have already assumed that if you only get a singing teacher and you get this, the lessons and you get the effective practice techniques, only then probably you'll be a good singer. So I'm asking, why do you think only if you get this thing that makes a great singer? So I have put myself in a really sharp corner here, right? Now this is the answer. I actually don't, because there are many great singers I know and listen to who are completely self-taught and they sing great. See, because I'm put in a corner with my own assumptions, suddenly I have arrived at a place of clarity already. I'm thinking that actually I'm not sure with my assumption, because the singers I listen to, many of them are completely self-taught, but they sing great, they never got lessons, so my assumption might be wrong, right? That is the power of the why only question. Can you see it, right? Now moving on. This is the am I sure question. The am I sure question is something like this here. Am I sure that the only that only getting lessons from singing teacher who teach singing voice development and effective singing practice techniques makes a great singer? So I'm really putting myself to that corner again, that am I really sure about this? Because I already admitted that I'm not sure entirely, right? So am I asking, am I sure about this? Now the answer is no, because I know great singers who are completely self-taught, and I also know people who got lessons who are amateurs and are not great singers. See, now I have the clarity solidified, because I know that my assumption was wrong. Because I know great singers who are self-taught, and I also know people who got lessons who are amateurs and they are not great singers. So my assumption must be wrong, right? Now moving on to the clarity question. What differentiates the great singers who were completely self-taught from the amateurs who got singing lessons at an early age? Now I've already questioned my assumption that there are great singers who were self-taught and there are people who got lessons who did not become great singers. So what differentiates them? The clarity question is about really bringing out the thing that we already discovered, right? So we want clarity on this. So the answer is something like this. The clarity question requires an in-depth answer, and the answer is an in-depth one, right? So let's go. The answer is this. I think the things that the self-taught great singers had, which the amateurs did not, were something like this. Number 1, great passion and love for music. Number 2, a desire to pursue music at all cost. Number 3, trust in their heart and following their calling with music. Number 4, a desire for self-expression with music, being a medium, not just to impress others. Number 5, to become light and inspiration for others through their music. So I have clearly described 5 qualities that I think the great singers who were self-taught had, which the others who got lessons did not, are these 5 qualities, right? The others who were amateurs, who did not become great singers, did not have these 5 qualities which the self-taught singers had, right? So we have arrived at a lot of in-depth clarity on this using the clarity question. Now, moving on. This is the do I have what it takes question. Now, this is the question that is going to point the finger back at us to see whether the clarity which we have received is applicable for us in our case, right? So let's do it. Do I think I have what it takes to be a great singer, and why? Yes, I have everything that it takes to be a great singer, because I have all the 5 qualities the great self-taught singers have, right? So I myself have described what actually leads to which qualities actually leads to somebody becoming a great singer, even if they're self-taught. And these qualities, suddenly I've realized that they are applicable in my case too, because I have them. I have all the 5 qualities, right? Now, the next question, the limiting belief re-question. Do I still think that I'm not good enough to be a great singer? No. I think I have everything needed to be a great singer, because the essential qualities that all self-taught great singers have, I have them too. Now this makes it completely certain. This really solidifies that clarity, that whether the clarity we have received is applicable for us totally or not. And it completely re-questions the first question that we started off with. And here we are receiving an entirely different answer from the answer that we received in the first question, right? Now, the next question is the next time question. Would I tell myself the next time, what would I tell myself the next time I start feeling I'm not good enough to be a great singer? Now, the next time question is about that if this limiting belief somehow pops up again, what would I tell myself so that we can get through it, right? Because now we have the clarity. So the answer is something like this. I would remind myself that I have all the 5 essential qualities that all self-taught great singers had, which means I have everything it takes to be a great singer. So that will be my answer to that limiting belief if it ever comes up and ever I find myself doubting again. Now this is the last question, the reminder tool question. What can I do to remind myself of this wisdom easily in moments of self-doubt? So maybe in future you find yourself doubting again. What can I do to to remind myself of this clarity, of this wisdom easily, with ease, what can I do? So we need to develop a tool here. So the answer is something like this. I will have the 5 essential qualities that all great singers had written down in a piece of paper for me to see every time I doubt my qualities, abilities, and potential, right? So if I have it written down in a piece of paper, that becomes a tool, right? That becomes a tool that I can immediately use every time I find myself doubting myself, right? So that is the power of the limiting belief dissolution method, the 9-step limiting belief dissolution method. I've given you all of it. Now, this is what I want you to do. Now, I want you to go ahead and use this 9-step limiting belief dissolution method with your most pressing limiting beliefs. Now, this is what I want to give to you, that before you start, you need to know that you need to find at least 30 to 45 minutes, free in your hand to devote to this process. This process requires conscious, focused introspection. And sometimes this process can feel a bit uncomfortable because we are really trying to dig deep into our own patterns, our own limiting beliefs, right? So it can feel uncomfortable. But if you do this, you will discover and uncover the hidden self-knowledge and the wisdom that will liberate you from this limiting belief and help you move ahead with your journey, help you in your self-growth journey. So find 30 to 45 minutes at least and do the entire process in writing in a piece of paper in one go, and you will come out of that limiting belief, right? So before I give you something really interesting, I'd just like to let you know that this method that I've given to you will always take you on a journey of self-discovery. So if you want to dig deep within yourself and find out what is really hidden inside of you and want self-knowledge, this 9-step limiting belief dissolution method will take you there. You will be on a treasure journey. You will find the treasure after you make the journey and reach the end, right? Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to give you something incredible. That is, sometimes in our journey towards self-growth, we fear criticism. We fear criticism, and that stops us from moving forward in our journey. So if that is a challenge for you, I'm going to give you something at the end of the video. But before I give you that, I just want to let you know that if all the things that I've given to you has connected with you, then let me know your thoughts in the comment. And as I mentioned, that I'm a life coach and I can help you overcome your challenges with lack of confidence, low self-worth, lack of clarity of purpose. And my 6-week program is designed to help you overcome exactly these challenges so that you can live your purpose, so that you can live authentically and live your best life, right? So if you want to know about my 6-week program, if you want to work with me in my one-on-one coaching program, right, then send me a direct mail. My mail ID will be in the description, or send me a direct message if you're watching this on Facebook. I'll get in touch with you. I'll ask you a few questions. And if I feel that you're a right fit, we'll have a discovery call. And join my Facebook group if you have not already, because in the group, I am very active. I'm doing this monthly polls. I'm doing this weekly group discussions. I'm asking questions about the biggest challenges of the members, and I'm personally addressing these challenges of my members in the group. So if you want to stay personally connected with me, the group is the place to be. Join the group. Link will be in the description. You have to answer the 3-member joining questions to be considered for joining the group, right? Now, as I mentioned that I'm going to give you something so that you can overcome fear of criticism, I have created an entire full-length video on this particular topic where I'm going to share with you that why a criticism is not an attack on your self-worth, but a criticism is a tool in our self-growth journey which is going to reveal to us important feedback on what we are doing and what we need to improve so that we can accelerate in our self-growth journey. So if this is something that resonates with you, if you are facing challenges with handling criticism, watch this video. It will probably appear in your screen right now, and get rid of all the fear with criticism, right? So watch the video, give this video a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you next time. Have fun. Bye-bye.